Hey, it's Tarek Ali. A little birdie told me that you wish there was more frequent uploads to help you in your healing journey and that you didn't have to wait months for the next podcast episode. Well, now you don't have to. Check the description to find out how you can leap into healing, the subscriber edition of this podcast where you will get weekly episodes. Yep, you heard me. Weekly episodes. These exclusive subscriber-only episodes will include tools and tangible practices and methods I've come up with to help you heal and grow, reviews of the main show episodes for messages you may have missed, and even more bonus episodes like affirmations, mindset shifts, and Ask Tarek. Check out the description so you can find out more and start leaping into healing today. What's up, beautiful people? It is your boy, Tarek Ali. Welcome back to That Conversation, a podcast where we have the hard conversations that help us grow. But instead, today, we're not having a hard conversation. We're having one of those good conversations. Now, look, I know this podcast is all about growth and healing. That is the reason I started this podcast. But even in, your healing process or your healing journey, it's important to take breathers. It's important to laugh. It's important to feel love and to just relax. So every episode of this podcast will not be a moment to learn or a moment to take away from something. And we actually talk about this in this episode. And I talked about it in the last episode of like taking time to feel, and not everything has to have a solution to it. And just taking the time to just really live in the moment. And we're doing that today. If you listen to the Empowered by No episode, then you are really going to be filled by this episode because we are celebrating, y'all. I will tell you in the episode, but I pretty much got my yes. If you heard the episode before, then you know what that yes is. And I'm telling you guys the process of that, what it means. And for the first time, I'm actually talking about my TV shows that I've written. And that will soon make it to screen, hopefully. Well, it's not hopefully. I know it will, but... and for the first time, we have a guest. We have a guest, which is Christian, who is on my team. We're going to explain it all in the podcast. I just wanted to come here to give a small intro just so you can know what this episode is about. It's a feel-good episode, and hopefully it inspires you to keep going so that you can reach your yes. There is a visual to this episode and all future episodes. You can go to my YouTube at Tarek Ali. Please make sure that you rate and you review and you share this with somebody that you think it would help or that would just enjoy this podcast. But yes, without further ado, we're going to get right into the episode. And thank you for listening and thank you for supporting me. I love you. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to That Conversation, a podcast where we have the hard conversations that help us grow. I'm here today with a guest.
Hi, my name is Christian Zamora. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said my last name.
Why not?
Oh, I don't know.
You gotta hide something? What's up?
No.
They not gonna do a criminal record background check or something?
My name is Christian.
But welcome back to the podcast. This is actually the very first episode with a guest. I told you guys that on this podcast, a guest is something that I do want to bring on, just so that we could have that conversation. Don't be nervous, Chris. Literally just be yourself. Like literally... We talk all the time.
I know.
Just talk to me. So to give you guys context, first of all, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm in an amazing mood. And you will hear why very soon. I'm just really happy, man. I'm really happy. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do to pull me down. I'm really happy. I'm loving this podcast. I'm loving doing this podcast. You guys are enjoying it. And someone in the last episode was asking me if I could talk about more lighthearted things, which was so funny to me because I didn't even realize that a lot of my content and it just shows you, I mean, just being honest, it shows you how, it's weird to say this about yourself, how authentic my content is because I create what's inside of me and what I'm going through. And I've always done that on YouTube ever since I started. So when I was doing a lot of beauty videos, I was into beauty. When I was doing a lot of vlogs, I was traveling a lot. And these past, I say 2 years because that's when I got into therapy and a lot was just happening in my career and it was just a lot. So I just was healing for 2 years, but it's actually been a 4-year journey of my healing. And 4 years ago was when I did my video calling my mom that left me when I was little. coming out to my dad. I was crying a lot on YouTube. And that was really when the healing started. It's just that I didn't, at the time, I just knew I needed to do it and I knew it would help a lot of people, but I didn't realize I was healing in the process. So that's just what my content has been. So it's not that like, I don't know. I've been called to by God to talk about these things, and they mean so much to me. And it has brought me to a place where I've found peace that I've never experienced before. And a lot of times, like the things that I learned in therapy, my therapist is expensive. Okay. My therapist is $225 each session. I know. I wasn't going to say it, but it's the truth. And she's really great and she's worth every penny. But the thing is, not everybody has the resources for that.
Right.
So what was important to me was that I come and I give it to my audience for free. Mm-hmm. Like I'm learning so much from it. And since I'm such an introspective person, and I actually apply it in my life, like, and it's what I study. Like I've been studying like emotion and all of that before even therapy. So pretty much I'm just taking the knowledge that I'm getting from my privilege and giving it to those that don't have privilege. So that's one reason I just don't have that same privilege. And so that's one reason I really think it's really important to talk about these things, especially because not a lot of people give this kind of information. And capitalism doesn't want people of lower income to have this type of knowledge and type of understanding because that's what keeps them mentally in a scarcity mind. Just so much. And especially with like being Black and people of color, like these resources are not available. So it's just really important to me that I share my journey and the tools that I'm learning. But no, it's just really important to me. But no, I still have fun and make jokes. Ask Christian. Oh, let me give y'all. I'm just really excited.
Before you say anything else, and then I want to mention that, like you said, taking what your privilege and what you have and bringing it to your audience, that's exactly how I found you. Before like we started working together and before I actually met you, when I was following you, I already had kind of a very like I was able to kind of recognize my emotions and recognize the things. I was very self-aware. That was the word I was looking for. But I think watching your videos, I was able to kind of put names to my feelings, recognize things. And I feel like we're very similar. We are. So I like saw like, oh, like we go through very similar experiences. And even if the experiences weren't similar, the skills that you were able to share in your YouTube videos, they were able to translate to other people's lives. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Christian.
So yeah, that's what I was able to like watch each video and be like, oh, like I didn't think about that in my life, or I didn't think about that approach. And so that really helped me mentally to get to a better space where, yeah, like I come from a Mexican like Christian household. So therapy maybe isn't the most comfortable conversation, but still I'm able to manage my own emotions. And because I was able to watch somebody else do that and kind of give me that guidance a little bit.
That was really unexpected, and you're trying to make me cry. You know I'll cry.
He will cry.
To give you context, Christian, I did interviews for an assistant, was it 2 years ago or a year ago?
Yeah, I think about like a year and a half
ago. I was looking for an assistant, and he applied. And how old were you at the time?
I was maybe like 17.
He was 17, y'all, and he was in high school, but he was so eager. And I knew he couldn't do the job. Like in the interview, I was like, he's young and just like what I required. And you were in high school. It just wasn't going to work out. But it was something about his energy that I never forgot. And so a year and a half later, my former assistant, which was amazing and I loved her, she was no longer a part of the team. She went and did her own endeavors. And I was thinking about who I could have to come help. But this time I really didn't want like an employee. I wanted someone that reminded me of me, but also either they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the connections, or they just needed a lot of experience and knowledge. Because this business is so gatekeeping. Like it's like they gatekeep really bad, and they use the experience and just connections things. So it was really important to me that I brought somebody young that I wish I would have had this kind of opportunity. So Christian now is working with me. He is helping me do a plethora of things. I literally came back to him and said, look, I have like not a real job description, but I'm doing a lot. And I think that you will be an asset to a lot of these things. So he's been helping me with producing this podcast. He's helped get all the things for this set. He's helping me with writing. Tell them about yourself and what you do. Hey, it's me again. I know you're enjoying the show, but I want to keep it ad-free, the way it's been. That's the way it should be. And when you subscribe to this show, you're not only supporting your own healing journey, but you're helping us produce this show so that we can continue healing millions. Check out the description so you can find out how you can leap into healing and subscribe to the show today.
Yeah, so originally I applied with Tarek to be his video editor, and that was like a year and a half ago.
Oh, that is what happened. Okay, you're right.
And that's what I was doing before. Like, I just did a lot of video editing. My goal is to be a director, but I taught myself basically everything from YouTube videos and just like trial and error. Since I was young, I never had any other career aspiration. And so like doing your own projects, editing is a big part of when you don't have a budget for a big camera, you're going to make it work with editing. And so that's kind of what I built upon throughout the years, and I really love it. And so that's when I came to you with those. And so he was kind of on board, like you said, but it really wasn't the right time. And then you took a break from YouTube to focus on writing your pilot. And I mentioned this to you maybe like the first day, like I came to your house. But for me, knowing like you were such a big influencer and stuff like that, I was kind of riding on, oh, this is everything. Like if I get this opportunity, like it's going to mean a lot like in my career path. And when you said, oh, I'm taking a break, like, sorry, I don't remember exactly what you said. But yeah, you said you're taking a break for writing. And I was kind of bummed out a little bit. I was like, oh, like I was really looking forward to that. But then I think it was in one of your YouTube videos that you said, and in addition to, I think I saw TikTok as well, about how like your creativity and just like your life can't depend on another person. And even though that person can help you, you need to continue growing in whatever it is. And for me, that was my art. And so I had to continue. I had to realize that if this opportunity is for me, it'll come when it's time. And if it's not, regardless, I need to still keep working on me.
Amen. Because
you're growing as a person and you're far ahead because you've been doing this for longer. And if I'm not growing and stagnant and just waiting for you, then that divide between our development is going to be too large where I'm no longer an asset for you, basically. And I won't be able to do my best. And so once I realized that, I was like, okay, then it's time to not forget about that, but like, just keep on going.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I kept on working at my craft. I kept on making short films and just developing myself as a person and then in my art. And then right before you called, I think I had like a lot more projects done. And I was like, and I saw you hinting like on social media, like, oh, I might be coming back to YouTube. I might come back to YouTube. And so I was kind of wondering if I should reach out or not. And I think it was like the day I was like, okay, I texted my friends. I was like, I think I'm going to like reach out to him. And you ended up like calling me and saying if I was still interested in, you're like, hey, I didn't forget about you, like still interested in this opportunity. And I was like, wow, look how God works. Like,
yeah. Thank you for that story. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. You see how everything aligns?
Yeah.
I mean, that's even a good segue to the actual, not point of this episode, but what I plan to come to this episode to talk about. It was kind of the part 2 to the Empowered by No episode. If you listen to episode 3 of this podcast, where I just shared the story of me getting a whole bunch of no's and this process of starting a new career, and just in general, when it came to any goal I got a lot of no's before I got the yes. And your story just spoke to that, about how if you just take a no and you stop, that could be the end. And it really just shows how you are the determining factor of your future.
Exactly.
A no doesn't mean stop. A no means not this, but keep going. There can be another opportunity, and there will be more opportunities. And it's not even like a can. You have to understand there will be.
Right.
Like you have to really like, oh, that didn't work out. That's cool. It's going to be something else. And understanding that something greater is coming. And so before we get into that and my yes, something that was really important to me when it comes to guests on this podcast, I know a lot of people were expecting, well, you could still expect, but I know a lot of people were expecting celebrities, influencers, and just different professionals, which I will have on. But I think what's really important and something that was really important to me in this podcast is everybody deserves to have that conversation and deserves to be heard, be listened to, and to be poured into, and just to have that space. And so it was really important to me, especially with you, your age. I just asked Christian how old he was because I forgot, right? Because I was about to do a toast for the celebration that we're about to have. And I was like, how old are you? And he was like 18. I said, oh, you're 18. And then I became that person that was like, when I was 18, I was like, oh God, I sound like those people now. But it's just like, it just made me grow so much more respect for you. You really remind me of myself. You really do. You're really driven. You're a hard worker, and not in a like capitalist way where I'm the boss and I'm like, yeah, he's a good hard worker. But in a way of like, I can tell you're really passionate. And it's a passion that a lot of people have to push themselves for. I don't feel like you push yourself. I feel like it's in you and you're just so excited to be a part of it. You're excited to be here. And so Christian is really talented in a lot of things. So y'all know I'm a screenwriter. I write. And so I come up with all these ideas, but Christian, he's been my writing assistant as well. And pretty much a lot of my ideas come in voice memo. Look at your face. A lot of my ideas are, somebody asked me on Twitter, what do you do when you have writer's block? And I'm like, sometimes it's hard to get those words on paper or to use a pencil or a keyboard. But I know I'm a good talker. I love to talk, girl. And sometimes my images, like I have ADHD. So sometimes like the image itself is way faster than I can write. And so sometimes I just open that voice memo and I talk. And Christian will transcribe. That's why he made that face. Because he would transcribe it. But also Christian is really, really talented in his writing. He's so young. Like that's why I was so surprised when you just said 18. Like your writing is really good. You're so young, and I don't think you know how good your writing is. You don't.
I don't.
Because I don't even know how good my writing is.
Yeah.
Yet. And I think that I'm just now coming into it, not because of this yes that I got, but I just been getting more into it because of those no's. Let's get into the episode, y'all. I mean, we just talked, but so today is a really big day, okay? Yesterday was the day I got my yes. And if you listen to the Empowered by No episode, then you know what no I got and what caused me to even do that episode. And yesterday, I finally, I'm sorry. My dog is crying really loud, and I don't think y'all can hear it, but me and Christian can.
Yeah.
It is like, it's really distracting us. It's funny. But, oh my gosh, the anticipation. Okay. First, before I even get into it, I'm so sorry. Y'all gonna hate me, ADHD. Right. So yesterday, I got my yes, which was I finally got signed. I am a signed screenwriter to a major management group. See, I want to say, but I'm so new that I'm because it's how about this? I'm still processing. I'm still like lost for words because I don't think people who are not in Hollywood or entertainment know how big of a deal this is. Like everyone was telling me congratulations, like my family and stuff, but it was one of my friends. No, it was Denzel. I sent it to Denzel. He said, bitch, this is a big deal.
Right.
And I know it's a big deal, but you know when you know it's a big deal and then someone else says, oh, this is a big deal. And you're like, wait, how big is it?
Yeah.
Like, wait, tell me what you think. Because I'm like, I know it's a big deal, but is it like really, is it bigger than what I even think? But because I'm now repped, I can say, right? See, I don't know why I feel like I can't say. I feel like I don't want to mess up anything. But you can't mess up anything God gave you. I still don't know the rules yet. I'm so new to Hollywood, y'all. Okay, how about this? I'm not going to say it in this one. I'm going to say it in the next one. I'm going to talk to him first because this is so random. But I am repped by a very reputable group of people. It's a boutique agency, but this agency has been around since the 90s. And the CEO, the head of this, it's not a management group. It's a management group and an agency. She has been in this business for 30 years, 30 plus years, 20. I hope I'm not aging her. Yeah, like 30 years. And my new manager, which is my direct manager, he has been in this game and this business for just as long. I would list the movies and TV shows they've done, but I feel like that would give it away. Let me just get my stuff together first, y'all.
Just know they work.
They work. And I'm also just lost for words, but it's a really big deal, y'all. It's like equivalent, in Hollywood, this is equivalent to getting signed to a record label, honestly. Because at this point, it's all about connections. Hollywood is all about who reps you, who is your agent, who is your manager, and I am with the big dogs. Like like my friend that's also in this management group that actually connected me. He was like, every single project I've ever had, I've had a meeting with every major exec. If I wanted it, I got it. Like if I said, oh, I want this on Netflix, I had a meeting with the execs the same week. So they have really big pools. So I mean, at this point. I didn't realize this today. Till today, I'm still processing, y'all. It's a really big deal. But today I realized, talking to Denzel at the gym, I was like, wait. See, like, I got signed. That's the first part, right? The second part is like the show getting picked up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they want to buy the show. They want to, whatever. But I'm like, I'm thinking that that's like the determining factor of everything. But I forget that now that I'm like, repped by them, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm with them, they're not just going to let me sit there and not work.
Yeah.
Because they get 10% at the end of the day. They love me. That's another thing I love about them is they authentically love me.
And they're excited about
They're excited about me. They're like excited about me. Like the CEO was sending
coming quick.
Christian was with me. I emailed them. I emailed the CEO, and she responded in like 1 minute with explanation points. Blah 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 is about to call you right now. And I talked to my friend that connected me with this group, and he was like, she doesn't email everyone directly. He was like, you got an email from her. Like she's the big boss.
Yeah.
Like,
and you have a thread.
Yeah.
So she's so excited about you.
Yeah. And so in my head, I'm like, even if I wrote 2 shows, even if like, I'm still going to do something, like I'm here now. Like my dream came true.
Yeah.
I'm still processing. So we had our meeting yesterday. So I haven't talked to Christian about it yet.
Yeah.
This is our moment to talk about it. And this is a big deal also because Christian came on, what was it, 2 months ago or a month ago?
I think like 2 months.
2 months ago. And I already finished my first pilot. My first pilot right now, it's called Unliked. I can tell you that. It may change. I don't care. It's called Unliked. And I finished that. So he came on when that was already done. Like the pilot is done, the pitch is done, the deck is done, everything's done. I was starting my book, my feature film, which a movie, and then another TV show. And so I was really just trying to, I wrote all of them, like the proposal and like the outline of all of them, but I was trying to figure out which one to like dive into. And we went with this one called, I can say it, yeah, it could change, Redeem. It's a working title, so it can change. It's called Redeem. I don't want to tell you what it's about yet. But if I did, your mouth would drop. And like everyone from the log line alone is like, how did you come up with this? So Christian worked with me on that. And he saw me create that show pretty much. Well, I started writing it 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And I didn't start writing it until recently. And Christian, like I was coming up with like what's happening each act, and like he's transcribing my voice memo. So he's seen the process of me come up with the outline for the pilot. And I want to hear what you think about the show.
I absolutely love the show. And I think it not only is just an exciting, intriguing show, it has the ability to heal people. It has conversations that you won't see on TV shows. It approaches topics carefully and with the intention of helping people.
Yeah.
Because I think now there's a lot of just like trauma porn.
Yeah.
And this show like has a lot to do with like therapy and just like traumatic experiences. And too often you see, and personally, like in the TV shows I watch, I've never seen that. I've never seen them, you know, like just approach and attack like big traumatic events with the proper, like, you know.
Yeah.
And so this show does that. And I think it's one of the first shows, if I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
And for that, I think it deserves all the praise just for that. And the writing, the work that you put into it is just excellent. And so this is going to be a really amazing show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think so too. I really do, y'all. This show, I mean, I don't watch every show on television anymore. There's so much. So I don't even know if I can say this, but I don't think this show will change the way TV is made and shows are made. And the reason I think that is because there's so much going on in the world. And I think that every time that networks or studios, whatever, try to tackle an issue, where there is homophobia, sexism, racism, all these things that everybody wants to see and talk about, it's like they don't know how to do it without triggering the people it's for.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you don't have to show that to tell this story.
Mm-hmm.
We know it. We live it in real life.
Exactly.
So you don't even have to really show that. You can allude to it and you can even show the before. And so I think this show will show people how you can have just as much emotional impact on your audience without triggering them.
Exactly.
They think they need to show us police pulling us over and adding intensity and boom, boom, boom and shooting us in order for us to, like, we don't need to see that.
Yeah.
We see it every day in real life. Why would I want to go to a movie theater and see something that happened to me 3 years ago that nobody knows about and I tried to get help for it and nobody listened?
Because it's all for shock factor. And which is why it's so important that you have people who've experienced this stuff.
Yeah.
Writing this stuff.
Yeah.
Being behind the scenes in this stuff. Because if not, then the people that all try to do this, which is usually to make more money.
Yeah.
Are just gonna screw it up.
And to be very honest, I think a lot of people that do write these shows or movies, whatever, like say if it's a person writing, okay, say if it's a black person making a movie about police brutality or whatever, there's two kind of artists and writers, and I'm just gonna say it, I don't care if I get flapped. There's some that make it for us, and there are some that make it for them. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's like, is this for us to feel good or for how we deal with this mentally? Or are you trying to teach the other people something right now? Or are you trying to push an agenda to them? You know? And I think that you can really tell the difference, especially like after you walk out of a movie. You're like, that didn't make me feel good at all. But for the other people, the them, it makes them think, wow, I need to be nicer to Trevante at school because he goes through a lot. So I feel like a lot of them add stuff like that because they need to see it. But I mean, to each his own. It's art. So I judge art like art. And I know that for me, my emotions are so tied to my art. And when I watch things, I know how to separate. This is the art. This is how I'm judging it as the art, but also its impact. Because regardless, you are putting this on global distribution. Millions of people will see this. And so you have to think about the impact as well. But as an artist, I see how like for example, Billie Eilish and her music when she says, I want to die. And like, kill me, you know, like, and that's the expression of her feeling in that moment. It doesn't actually mean, you know, we should be watching her 24/7. It's art. And it's an expression of what they were feeling so other people can know you're not alone. I felt that deep and low too. But you also have to think of the impact and that this may push some people, It's a slippery
balancing
slope.
game.
It's a balance, though. But for me personally, and that's why I'm removing the judgment. For me personally, I don't feel the need to trigger. I will never in my work. And that's something I promised to God and myself. I don't feel like it's needed. For me personally, I keep saying that because at some point, to be very honest, I get into this I'm so strong. I feel so strongly about it that sometimes my ego comes up and I'm like, you're just not that talented if you can't share a message without triggering. And I don't want to do that because everyone's art is different. So I'm just keeping it personal. For me, I know I'm talented enough to tell a story without triggering victims because everything I do, I know my purpose on this earth is to heal. So with everything I make, you will walk out of that movie theater or that living room, whatever, feeling inspired to be introspective or to grow or to support. It's healing. Everything I make, everything. And I'm doing it through entertainment with television. I'm so excited about this show. But yes, before we continue, let's toast. See, I asked you your age. I'm going to drink some wine, but I'm going to give you some Essentia. Okay? Maybe when you turn 21, Jesus can turn it into wine, child. There you go.
Thank you.
Let me get my glass. I am drinking Pinot Grigio. I ran out of Saint Germain. So, is he going to cry this whole episode?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Probably. Okay. So, I want to make one, and then you can make one.
Okay.
I'm still processing, Chris. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, y'all. My mind hasn't wrapped. I'm repped by really big managers. I am going to have a TV show. Regardless, even if it's not even what I wrote already. Okay. I want to toast to. I'm so and this makes me upset. You know why? Because I was thinking yesterday when I took a walk to talk to myself and to just take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to do this too, have a moment of whatever. And I did not know what to say. I said, damn, this not even the Oscars. This why they be so choked up. I can't imagine. Because right now, asked me last week, I knew what I was going to say on my acceptance speech.
Right.
But I cannot imagine to be lost. I'm going to be lost for words. I'm going to be so mad after. I'm oh my God. That's why I have to write something. I'm going to be so shaken up. But right now, I want to say, here's to silencing all of the voices from the outside and from within that tell you that, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense. How is that going to work? Are you good enough? Is this good enough? All of those voices that keep you from doing that thing that fulfills you and that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel the greatest you've ever felt. I really took a chance on me and my talent, and I kept my head down, and I listened to just the good voices in me, and I listened to God, and I let Him direct me. And next thing you know, I lifted my head, and I was creating the life that I wanted the entire time. And I realized how much power I have. People take me as extraordinary. They that's just Tarek. Tarek always, I've always been like this. But if you watch my last episode as well, I always let trauma be my life coach. That's why I had so much, because I was so low and I've been through so much that I always put it in the forefront. And that's what pushed me forward. But when I stopped doing that and I realized that it's not even my trauma that got me here, it was, I believed that I could do it, and I trusted myself. And I want this to be a testament to everyone. Trust yourself, babe. You can do it. It makes me so emotional because it was scary, y'all. Please don't think I did this. And I was confident. I was scared. Even Christian in these past 2 months has seen me. He was he will cry. I've been so anxious and scared. So scared. Really scared, y'all. And through all of it, I didn't try to get rid of the fear. I held it. I knew it was my inner child. He's afraid to be poor again. He's afraid to be house to house and not knowing who's going to take care of him. He's scared. But adult me is like, this is what I want to do. But he would not come. He was scared. And I held his hand and I said, you can be scared. I'm going to be here with you. So it's not about getting rid of the fear. It's about working with the fear. And I worked with the fear. And now the fear knows that it was wrong. It's like, oh, you was right. Yeah, baby. And now my inner child is like, I have the best relationship with him now because he trusts me now. He trusts me. Like, I can be scared and you'll take care of me. You'll follow your dreams. I'm still going to have the fear. So this is to that. Look at me. You knew I was going to cry.
Right.
Oof, child. Yeah, so here's to that. And if this episode doesn't do if anything, trust in you. And that thing that makes no sense to anyone else, but you keep getting that thought and that word in you, like something keeps telling you, that is God. You're not crazy. Why do you keep thinking about it? And it's a random ass thing that makes no sense. Why would you keep thinking something that makes no sense, girl? That means it's supposed to make sense to you. And you got to just go after it. So that's my toast. What's yours?
Like you said, I don't know what to say, but I feel like working with you, I've been able to see the work you've put in, both emotionally, but also to like your craft. And I think I admire that a lot because you were able to do that simultaneously. And it shows in your writing. Like you see, oh, this is like a great writer. On the way on the way here, I was thinking about him Liked again. And I was like, or actually no, last night when I was watching Masterclass, and I was like, just learning about like screenwriting more. And I was like, Unliked is like the writer's script. Like it's perfect in structure and all that and stuff like that. Like you see like, oh, this is a student of writing. Like that's the writer's script. And now going into Redeem, you take those skills and now you're adding your personal and emotional development. And I think that's beautiful and that's admirable. And then it like inspires me to do the same. Because I feel like when you're able to develop like your emotional, that makes your writing even more better. Because you're dealing with these characters, you're dealing with, although fake, like real people in like those worlds. And then like how you said, like writing and art also has a social impact. Art is political because we live in a politicized society. And so it's important to, approach your art and stuff with like that care and stuff like that. And so that inspires me to do the same. Like when I was thinking about last night, like how you told me like I need to start writing again. And so I was like, I had this idea, but I was like, I don't know if I like it. And then like I was like thinking about it, there was also going to be like a therapy portion to it. I was like, oh no, that sounds like too much like Tarek's. Then I was like, but this is like where art should be going. Like this is the direction. It should be going into healing people. In the time we are right now, people want escapism. And I think, why not escape into an outlet that's healthy?
Yeah.
And so why not art reflect that? So I think like my toast is to art being like that now, where it's like starting to heal the world and it can be fun and all that. And it should be fun, but also there's always like a theme or a story. And so, yeah.
Toast. Here's to so much that we're going to do together.
Aww.
I'm so excited to bring you on this journey with me. Life is about to change.
Really fast.
No, really, Christian. Like, for real. So thank you. Thank you. You know what's so funny? You said, yes, unliked, and how it's like perfect in the writing. Like, it follows all of the rules.
Yeah.
Before I get into that, I want you to know it's okay to be, I'm just being reductive or what's the present tense of brevity? Not brevity, but like anyways, lack of better terms. It's okay to be a copycat in the beginning. I was obsessed with Shonda and I was trying to write like Shonda.
Yeah.
But that's the process of writing. See, the thing is, what's going to keep you from writing is every time you go to do it, you know what you want in here and up here. You know it's you. But because there's so many rules and you want to do it right, you're naturally going to create something that kind of looks or sounds like what you're studying or what you love.
Yeah.
So that was me with my writing. With like the writers that I loved, I was writing like Shonda. I was writing like, I read a lot of Breaking Bad. But that's okay. The point is that you're writing. Because for me, it was so many things keeping me from writing. I was like, oh, I don't like that story. Oh, I don't want to sound like that. Instead of just writing. Yeah. And as you write, you're going to write and I'm going to be here for you. I want to read it. I'm going to give you my feedback so that every time you're going to find your voice with each one. And so even if it does sound just like a Tarek Ali project, write it. Yeah. Because you're still learning the rules and the process and it's a mental thing. Writing you have to be very intelligent to write. And that's how I know you're going to be good, because your writing is so good already. So once you get past the intelligence and the rules part, then you can be like, oh, I know the rules, so I could just put myself into this. So don't be afraid at the beginning if something sounds like something else is fine. I really hope that y'all cannot hear grasp.
That dog is cool.
It's ridiculous. And I'm trying to be really graceful as a parent, but like it's because he can hear us. He hates separation. So he's standing there all day. He needs to learn. I'm a black mama. Okay. But anyways, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what he said in the meeting, and then we can get to the questions. Yeah. So pretty much next steps, that meeting was really just a call for him to tell me he wanted to rep me. Okay. He was just like, look, man, I read your stuff and I love it. And like, he was excited. He's like, I'm excited. Like, I really love it. I think it was so funny. The way these, it was so funny. It's like they be knowing more than they tell you. It's like they be already knowing who gonna buy it, or like they already sent it to somebody. That's what it be sounding like sometimes. Like they already know, oh yeah, this is gonna sell. Like they don't even be nervous about it because they've been in the business so long. Yeah. They know exactly who to send it to. They know all these things, but it's kind of like, in a way, they kind of like walk on eggshells so that you can lead so because it's your work, so you get to decide. But he was saying that he was like, look, I'm just calling you to tell you that I'm interested and I want to rep you, but he said, this is where the people would be interested. You know, I see this being, boom, boom, boom. But he said next steps. He didn't even, what's so funny? He didn't even read. He didn't even get. So, first I had a meeting, for context, I had a meeting with them a month and a half ago. That was my first, that was my first time my material was going to them a month and a half ago. And this is Hollywood. It got to go through 20 people. And so the first person read it, and he's in the book department. And so I had a book, so he read it. He read everything though. Yeah. And he was like, I love Unliked, and I love your book. But he was like, I love Unliked. And the CEO loved it too, but they had to send it to the TV side of the management group. And that was like, he was like, I'm going to send it to them, boom, boom, boom. It's like, it has to go through a whole bunch of people. Yeah. And so it went to the TV side, but they only sent Unliked, and they only sent the pitch for Redeem. They didn't send the outline for the pilot. So when he got on the phone, he was talking all about Unliked. And it's so funny for me. I love Unliked. I really do. I do. It's just that when I'm creating and when I'm writing, like I'm in the world of what I'm writing. And right now, Redeem is the best show I've ever written. So Unliked is cute. Like I love no. I love Unliked. I love it. It's just that I'm just really into what I'm writing right now. And so he was just talking about Unliked, and I'm like, did he not read Redeem? There's no way that you could be talking about Unliked this much and you love Redeem. You know what I mean? But he was talking about Unliked. And then he told me he didn't even get Bingo. The movie. He didn't even get Bingo. I'm excited because I think he's really gonna like Bingo.
Bingo.
I do. That's a good movie. Christian, that's a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Your faces be killing me. You be like, no, but he said, it's so funny. He went straight into the next course of action. He's like, there's a couple things we can do. There's 4 things that can happen. He was like, since all the materials are done for Unliked, he's like, I can send it out. And the 4 things that can happen is 1, they read it and we say, hey, this is a sample of my new client. First of all, they're big reps. So anybody they rep, they trust the person sending it. Like if you're sending this to me, then, they already respect. They don't even care about the name at that point. I mean, unless it's like a big name already, like Issa Rae or something, because you can go off the wave of that. But because they're sending it, like you wouldn't send me some crap. So, they already respect it in a different way. They're going to read it like the same day. It's not like it's going to sit on the counter like it's a submission. And so he was like, we can send it as a sample. Hey, this is something that Tarek worked on for this project. And 1, they could either really love it and say, hey, is this available? Like, either they can buy it, pick it up, or like, it wouldn't be that fast. He said after they would ask for like a story Bible or like where the season is going to go, and then you get like picked up.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. He was like, that's the best case scenario is that they want that show. And then 2, you send it and maybe, because different networks, they have like mandates. And so like in a certain season, they'll be like, oh, we only want 4 dramas and 1 comedy in the next 5 months. And so if they already picked up their comedy, they're not going to pick up another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not the right timing for them. And then they would say, hey, we don't want the show right now, but his writing and his voice is amazing. They'll give me an assignment. And so that can be, say they have ideas of what they want. Like, dang, we want a vampire show. Like HBO Max just came out with a vampire show. We need a vampire show. Would he be open into writing a vampire show? And my manager would tell me, and I would go come up with an idea for a vampire show.
Yeah.
And they either like it or they don't. And then if they do like it, and I would get paid through all of this. Let's be very clear. Be very clear. Big ballers. I'm with the big ballers.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just really excited. Okay. So then I would go and write the vampire show, boom and boom. Or they already have a project like all packaged, but they just need the writer. Because like a lot of times they'll have a creator, like somebody came up with the idea, especially actors. Actors go to their team all the time, like big actors, like I want to be a therapist. I want to be like a Meryl Streep can do that. Like, hey, I think I want to do like a romance. Can you find me a romance? And so they get like the director. She knows what director she wants to work with, but they don't have a writer. They need a voice. So that's really the point. As a writer, it's about your voice. When they read your script, they know your voice. And it's like, oh, you could write something in this way. And so that could be the other thing, is that they either ask me to come up with something or they have something and they want me to be the writer. Or the third thing was I send Unliked as a sample and they love it. And then we say, that'll segue for a pitch for Redeem. So that way I wouldn't have to write the pilot for Redeem because they already read my voice and my writing from Unliked, that they could get the outline and everything from Redeem and pick it up from that because they already saw that my voice. And then he was like, 4th case scenario is they say, thanks for sending, no thanks. Yeah. But he was like, that's so unlikely. Like, honestly, if he signed me, he doesn't think that will happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's your best case scenario? Like, what do you kind of want?
Okay. I have 2. To be honest, I'm grateful. I have 3. I have 2 things I would like, and then 1 I think is going to happen. I really love Redeem. I do. I think that Redeem encompasses me as an artist. I think that encompasses what you can expect from me in my career. Yeah. Like my entire career. I think Unliked is more timely in my transition right now.
It's a very transitionary.
Yeah.
Like, it has your perspective, but not your voice. If that makes sense.
I see what you mean. But that's also because we're not deep into the season yet. I feel like unlike, you know what happens. So I think that just from the pilot, you can't see that. But I think Redeem, you will be able to. Mm-hmm. But I think that Unliked is more of a long run type of thing that you don't even know you're going to get that type of feeling. At first, you just think is like this dramatic, cute aesthetic, nice show. But then it's like, oh, they talk about some real shit. And it's like some real shit going on.
And that's true because one's an episodic, one's like just a TV show.
Yeah. So I think that Redeem would be good in terms of like just being transparent, respect. Mm-hmm. I would storm the industry. That's how you break into a fucking industry.
Yeah.
I feel like that people will be like, wow, he's how old? Like, I'll be respected. I think Unliked would get me more following, like younger audience. It would be more like, I don't know how to explain. It would be more of like young socialite. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, he got his own show. It would be my like my Insecure. Mm. You know?
Yeah. It'd get people to be like, oh, like pay attention.
Yeah.
Where Redeem is like, you're like rushing at somebody. Yeah. Like, this is me.
Coming out the gate, wow.
Yeah.
He wrote it. Like they would not expect, I'm telling you, that show, they wouldn't expect that from a YouTuber. That's how they look at it. Because I feel like Unliked gives that, right? Like, oh, he was a YouTuber, he wrote the show.
Yeah.
Which is still cute. I don't mind that. Like, I think that shows the journey. And I think that with Unliked being first, then going to Redeem, it shows growth. But I feel like coming out with Redeem, they're going to be like, you were a YouTuber? And like, you were an influencer? Yeah. And like, you should have been started writing. I think it gives that. So, but I think I would like either. I'm really blessed with either. I will be very honest. I would love to work on Redeem. Only because it's so fresh. Mm-hmm. Like the emotionally abusive relationship and all of that. Like just all of that. And I think it would really help with my healing. And I think that show is so timely. It's needed right now. Women need that show right now. Victims need that show right now. So many people need that show right now. I think that show, I would just, wow. But I'm blessed with either. And the third, I think what is going to happen, I think they're both going to get picked up.
I was just going to say, I know we talked about that.
I do think so. And I got a reading, y'all, and she was saying pretty much like, don't be afraid to say yes. And when I was getting the reading, I'm like, I wouldn't be afraid to say yes, bitch. Give me like, why would I be afraid? She was like, it's gonna be you're gonna think that you can't do it, but it's gonna be too much, and like you can't show up. Yeah. Like it's gonna be too much. But she's saying, say yes. You will. And I couldn't think of anything else other than both of my shows getting picked up and I having to work on both, back to back. And I think that's gonna happen. I do think that's gonna happen.
That's gonna be amazing.
That'll be amazing, right? Yeah, I'm like really just still processing. We shall see. But I think both are timely. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great time for both shows. And I'll be blessed to work on either. And I think my movie's gonna get... they're all really good. Maybe all writers think this, but I just think that my writing is really good, Chris. I knew. It's really good. The stories are good.
The stories are good. The actual writing is good.
Yeah. Well, that's that. So I want to say thank you to everybody listening for supporting me. Without you, I wouldn't be here. So I know they hear that. It's getting ridiculous. Grass, stop. Stop. A black mama. Hey, it's Tarek Ali. A little birdie told me that you wish there was more frequent uploads to help you in your healing journey and that you didn't have to wait months for the next podcast episode. Well, now you don't have to. Check the description to find out how you can leap into healing, the subscriber edition of this podcast where you will get weekly episodes. Yep, you heard me. Weekly episodes. These exclusive subscriber-only episodes will include tools and tangible practices and methods I've come up with to help you heal and grow, reviews of the main show episodes for messages you may have missed, and even more bonus episodes like affirmations, mindset shifts, and Ask Tariq. Check out the description so you can find out more and start leaping into healing today.